Hi guys, my name is Dr. Aishwarya Pawar and in today's video I am going to be talking about PCOD as well as PCOS. So according to a survey conducted by All India Institute of Medical Science AIMS Delhi, which says that 1 in 10 women suffer from PCOD and 1 in 5 women suffer from PCOS. So I am going to talk about PCOD and PCOS as well as the difference between the two in great details later. But before that, if you are new on my channel, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and tap on the bell icon. So every time I post a video, you get the notification about it. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button and do share it with your friends. So PCOS is a hormonal condition that affects women in their childbearing period, that is between 15 to 44 years of age. So to understand PCOS, we need to understand the anatomy of the female reproductive system, which I am going to explain you. So this is the female reproductive system, which I am going to explain in short, as well as the process of ovulation, what happens in ovulation and what happens when you have PCOS during ovulation. So the female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, bilateral ovaries, along with pair of fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix and vagina. So this is the transverse section of the ovaries. Ovaries contain lifetime supply of eggs which are immature and are stored in the tiny fluid filled structures called follicles, which is visible in the diagram. So now we are going to see what is ovulation, what happens exactly in ovulation. So normal ovulation as in what happens when a person doesn't have PCOS or PCOD. So pituitary gland located at the base of the brain produces hormones that direct the function of your ovaries. So each month the pituitary gland secretes FSH and LH. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone, LH is luteinizing hormone into the bloodstream. So after this hormone reaches the ovaries, several hundred immature eggs starts to mature, expanding the size of the follicles. As the eggs mature, the follicles secrete estrogen, which is a female sex hormone. So when the amount of estrogen in the blood reaches a certain level, pituitary sends the surge of luteinizing hormone to the ovaries, causing the most mature follicle, that is the Graafian follicle, to open or rupture and release its egg in a process called ovulation. So now the free egg, the ruptured egg, travels to the fallopian tubes where it awaits fertilization, and the remaining immature eggs and follicles dissolve. So if the egg is not fertilized, the egg and the lining of the uterus are shed during the next menstrual period, and then menstruation occurs. So this is ovulation. So now we will see, if you have PCOS, what happens during ovulation. So pituitary gland may release abnormally increased amount of luteinizing hormone into your bloodstream, so disrupting your normal menstrual cycle. So as a result, your follicles do not mature and ovulation doesn't occur, which can lead to infertility. So some of the immature follicles do not mature or do not dissolve and remain as fluid filled sacs or cysts in the ovary. In addition, your bloodstream will have increased levels of insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas. So too much insulin combined with increased levels of luteinizing hormone can lead to excess production of a male hormone, which is called as testosterone, in your ovaries. So abnormally increased level of testosterone in your ovaries prevent ovulation, which can lead to infertility. So increased level of testosterone in the ovaries cause many of the physical features associated with PCOS, such as acne, abnormal hair growth. Having PCOS raises your risk for type 2 diabetes, increased levels of insulin and insulin resistance, cardiac diseases, high blood pressure and endometrial cancer. So women diagnosed with PCOS have 3 times the risk of diabetes, cardiac diseases and stroke as compared to the normal women. Also, twice the risk of anxiety and depression, hospitalization as compared to the normal women, and 10 times the risk of infertility as compared to the women who do not have PCOS. So what causes PCOS? So many scientists and doctors believe that there is no known cause for PCOS, but many theories have been postulated saying that PCOS is genetic and PCOS run in families. So it is not just one gene that is linked to PCOS, but a combination of many genes which has been linked to PCOS. But there is no exact known cause for PCOS. So the next theory which has been related to the cause of PCOS is insulin resistance. So 70% women diagnosed with PCOS have insulin resistance, which means that their body can't use insulin properly. Insulin is a hormone which is secreted by the pancreas to help the body utilize sugar from foods. So when the cells can't use insulin properly and the excess insulin compensates, which triggers the ovaries to release male hormones such as testosterone. So the increased or excess level of testosterone prevents the ovaries from ovulation or from releasing eggs, which further leads to infertility. So also insulin resistance and excess insulin has a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Obesity is one of the major reasons of type 2 diabetes. So now I am going to talk about the symptoms of PCOS. Irregular periods. So as ovulation doesn't occur, the uterine wall doesn't shed, which is why you get irregular periods. Sometimes some females get heavy periods because the uterine wall doesn't shed, and when it sheds heavily, which is why they get heavy periods. Acne, oily skin, development or growth of excessive hair on the chest, back, face, which is called as hirsutism, excessive baldness, loss of hair from the scalp, dark patchy skin, pelvic pain. So these are the symptoms of PCOS. So next symptom is weight gain. 80% women who suffer from PCOS are obese, but this is not likely to be true because nowadays even women who are underweight or who are thin are likely to be suffering from PCOS as well as PCOD. So both underweight as well as overweight women can suffer from PCOS. So how is PCOS diagnosed? So it will be diagnosed by your gynecologist when you have increased levels of androgens, when you have excessive hair growth on your chest, back and face, when you have irregular menses, and they will also conduct a pelvic examination in which they will do a PV, that is a per vaginal test, in which a gloved finger will be inserted into your vagina to check for the growths in your ovaries as well as your uterus. Also they will conduct blood test to check the increased level of male hormones into your bloodstream, and lastly ultrasound. So these are the diagnostic tools used to diagnose PCOS by your doctors or by your gynecologist. So how PCOS affects your body? So first is infertility. Because there is no ovulation, in order to get pregnant, the woman has to ovulate. So because of the increased levels of male hormones, ovulation doesn't occur, which causes infertility. So metabolic syndrome. So 80% women who have PCOS are obese and overweight. So both obesity and PCOS have increased risk for excessive blood sugar level, high blood pressure, high levels of bad cholesterol in the bloodstream. So these factors are called metabolic syndrome, and they have the risk of developing cardiac diseases, blood pressure and stroke. So next is endometrial cancer. So when ovulation happens, the uterine wall sheds, but if you don't ovulate every month, the uterine wall do not sheds and gets built up. So the thickening of the uterine wall increases the risk for endometrial cancer. So next is depression. So both altered hormonal levels as well as development of excessive unwanted hair in the regions of face, chest, back can give rise to emotional conflict and may cause depression and anxiety. So now what is the difference between PCOD and PCOS, which we hear quite often? Both PCOD and PCOS are lifestyle disorders and are related to menstrual problems. They are quite alike, but PCOD and PCOS are not the same. There are very minute difference between two, and right kind of diagnosis at the right time can help the problem. So now we will discuss about PCOD. So PCOD is polycystic ovarian disease or polycystic ovarian disorder. Is a disorder which is caused by an imbalance of hormones in the reproductive system. So where the hormonal imbalance leads to an excess secretion of male hormone, that is testosterone, which leads to irregular periods and delayed egg release, which may also turn into cyst. Or fluid-filled sacs are actually follicles, each containing an immature egg, but the eggs never mature enough to trigger ovulation. So PCOD is not a serious condition, but it can be cured via some exercises, diet and some lifestyle changes. So now PCOS is very similar to that of PCOD. It is an endocrinal problem where the glands and the hormones are involved. So women who suffer from PCOS produce more than usual levels of male hormones, that is the testosterone. So the period cycles get disrupted because of the increased level of testosterone, and the eggs, which form as cysts, build up in the ovaries and get enlarged in size. So it also leads to a change in metabolism that carries an increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic problems. So PCOS can basically manifest in women in different ways depending on the age, on the pre-existing health problems. So even though they have similar causative factors, that is hormonal imbalance, but PCOD and PCOS are different. So PCOS is a metabolic syndrome, that is endocrinal, where the glands and the hormonal imbalance is of more serious nature. So PCOD largely happens through hormonal imbalance and can be corrected through a right diet and exercise. Whereas there is no cure for PCOD or PCOS. So PCOS can also be managed by treating the several different factors which are causing the syndrome. So specific medical management, which I am not going to go in details of, even lifestyle changes and diet is advisable for PCOS management. So that being said, making lifestyle modifications play a major role in relieving symptoms of both problems. So adopting a good diet, managing weight, fighting stress, engaging in good exercise on a regular basis can help deal with symptoms on the long run. So even though there is no perfect cure that treats PCOD or PCOS, so regular exercises, brisk walk, jogging, moderate intensity exercises, a balanced diet rich in vitamins, minerals can also help overcome the symptoms of PCOS. So managing a good and disciplined lifestyle, so cutting down or minimizing processed foods, intake of processed foods, sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, fried foods can also help you manage your weight. So diet plus exercise is equal to faster weight loss. So losing weight can help you regulate your menstrual cycle and improve PCOS symptoms. So weight loss can also improve you to reduce your levels of bad cholesterol, that is low density lipid, reduces the risk of cardiac diseases, diabetes, and helps you lower your insulin levels. So a few studies have found that 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise at least 3 days a week can help women with PCOS lose weight. So even some yoga poses like Kapalbhati and lotus pose helps to improve PCOS symptoms. So if you found this video useful, please hit the like button and share it with your friends and family, and please subscribe my channel. And thanks for watching my video, and do give me your feedback in the comment section, or if you have any questions related to the video. Till then, goodbye, take care.